Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today, wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And I gotta start with this. Google searches for crypto are dead. Zero interest in crypto and Bitcoin right now. That's exactly when the biggest rallies begin. Everybody thinks it's over for crypto. I see it all day long, all over X. Sell now, take profit while you can before the market goes even lower. But are people not paying attention to what's actually going on? Everything that we've been waiting for as crypto investors is happening right now. We are on the verge of clarity. We're on the verge of ETFs. We're on the verge of institutional adoption, and yet people think crypto is done, that this cycle is over. Come back in 2028. What I think is done is the 4-year cycle, and I think this cycle proved that by all the delays and how long this cycle actually was. I think utility is about to control this market going forward. Some people see it, other people refuse to see it. The McRIB is back. Like I said in that previous video, I had to talk about this. So McDonald's is bringing back the McRIB for a limited time today. And you see what happens when the McRIB returns. Of course, the market pumps. And that's Bitcoin's chart right there. So if Bitcoin moves up in price, it's going to pull the rest of the market up with it. But history has shown us this has happened in the past. Will it repeat this time around? Ripple Labs is conquering crypto. Now, the XRP linked firm wants to take on traditional finance. This is coming from the mainstream media, CNBC. And I was surprised to see this article. So Ripple Labs has become one of the world's largest cryptocurrency companies, but executives aren't stopping there. CEO Brad Garlinghouse told CNBC, over the past year, the firm has ramped up efforts to bridge the Web3 world and an industry that has long been viewed as its foil, traditional finance. And that's what Ripple set out to do from day one. And again, you can see traditional finance and crypto merging together right now in real time. And people think like the big names that we've seen up to this point are something. Wait until you see names you've never even heard of before entering this space, because we're going to get a massive wave of institutional adoption. Right now, it's mostly the big banks and the big names that are out there. Soon, it'll be the regional banks. It'll be the banks that you know, like your neighborhood banks, getting into this space. Wait until the banks start offering crypto. That will legitimize this entire market, because all of a sudden, the normies, the people outside of crypto, they'll start to see value in crypto. Biopharma raises $100 million for crypto treasury to back cancer treatment. I really like the idea of this. And these are the cryptocurrencies that they're investing in so far. Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, Injective, as well as some lesser known cryptocurrencies. So are they going to invest in XRP? Do they view XRP as a lesser known cryptocurrency? Because some of these companies, they purposely leave XRP out. But in fact, I think they're all stacking this cryptocurrency behind the scenes. But it's like they got to keep that Bitcoin narrative going. And I don't get it. You know, it's retail doesn't even look at Bitcoin mostly anymore, because retail cannot afford one whole Bitcoin. So the FOMO is not going to be in Bitcoin, and it's not going to be in ETH either. I think you're going to see some FOMO for Solana still. But for the most part, they're going to be looking past those cryptocurrencies. They're going to be looking at something that they can stack a decent bag of. And that's why I think XRP is going to be the FOMO winner this time around. The Trump administration wants to allow crypto-backed mortgages. So once again, they're talking about this. And it's almost to the point where this is about to happen. So imagine, instead of selling your crypto to go buy a house, instead you use your crypto as collateral to buy the house. This way you're not selling your entire bag, but instead you're getting passive income off of your bag. And that passive income is paying the mortgage on the new house you wanted to buy. This way you could ride out your crypto for another entire cycle because you're getting monthly returns off of it. And just imagine where the price of XRP is going to be 3-4 years from now. Instead of, selling your entire bag to buy the house, maybe that house now only costs you 50 or 100 XRP in the future. That's why I'm not in any rush to sell my crypto. If this was the 2021 run, I would be talking to you about when are we going to sell our bags. But this time around, it's so much different. We're on the verge of institutional adoption, and that's the big one. Because for the first time in history, up to this point right now, you beat the institutions to this space. But that's about to change forever. Once the institutions get into this space, that's it. It's over for retail. You are going to be paying premium prices for XRP going forward. Ripple CEO says company won't support bills that threaten hard-won XRP clarity. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse says the company will not support any legislation that risk undoing the legal clarity XRP already secured in the United States. Speaking in an interview with Crypto in America, Garlinghouse described XRP's regulatory position as a milestone won through years of legal battles. Accordingly, he confirmed that Ripple will not allow it to be jeopardized. Imagine spending all of that money to beat the SEC, only to have some bill passed that hurts the clarity of XRP. Of course, Ripple will never want to see that happen. And Ripple fought that battle on behalf of this entire space. There's a lot of people out there that don't realize that. Ripple wasn't just fighting for XRP. They were fighting for XLM and Cardano, even Bitcoin and Ethereum. They were fighting for every single cryptocurrency that we know today. Because without that clarity, there would have been so many cryptocurrencies that would have already died off. Remember all those lawsuits coming from the SEC back in 2022, 2023, 2024, up until the election? I mean, that's what Ripple was fighting back against. And out of it, they got clarity for XRP, and now XRP is fully vetted in the United States. And that's going to give it the upper hand going forward. EZA founder says XRP surge shows where demand is, as government reopening sparks ETF optimism. Of course, the demand around XRP is absolutely incredible. These ETFs, there wouldn't have been that many filings if the demand wasn't there. These companies are not just going to go file for any old ETF. They picked XRP specifically because they know their customers were already asking for it. The demand is there. We are just waiting for the surge in price to happen because of that demand. The inflows are going to be absolutely insane for XRP. Ripple has Tier 1 banks as partners because XRP will be classified as Tier 1 by the BIS. You read that right. XRP will be a Tier 1 asset alongside gold. Most XRP holders are not ready for what is coming for XRP. If you're wondering what Tier 1 is, take a listen to Jake Claver here.
Imagine what could happen if XRP gets a Tier 1 asset designation from the Bank of International Settlements. A Tier 1 asset designation means the highest level of trust and liquidity in global finance. This status would allow XRP to be held as a core reserve asset by central banks, similar to gold and US Treasuries. With a Tier 1 backing, XRP would not just be another cryptocurrency, it'd be a critical piece of the global financial system. The result? Increased adoption, greater liquidity, and potentially massive price appreciation. The Bank of International Settlements plays a central role in setting global financial standards. And if they were to elevate XRP to Tier 1 status, it would signal trust, regulatory acceptance, and broader usage in cross-border settlements. The implications of this move would be huge, potentially cementing XRP's place as a core piece of infrastructure in banking globally.
And the BIS, every single white paper that they created had RippleNet technology in mind, and XRP as well. So if the BIS was to give XRP that Tier 1 status, you think we're looking at a high-priced XRP in the future? This would push XRP to price points you could only dream about. And there's a I'm saying very, very good chance that this is going to happen. Because the BIS, the IMF, the World Bank, the ECB, and a multitude of other central banks already see XRP in this way. They were looking at XRP as the future from day one. And the reason I wanted to talk about this now is because we're on the verge of Basel III in January of next year. So this could be another catalyst that plays out in the middle of this alt season. I'm not going to say this is definitely going to happen, but there is a very good chance this happens in the short term as well. Data analyst, XRP's turn is beginning. Price has bottomed out. Here's the new target. So they're saying the bottom is now in for XRP, and they're looking at a price point of $21 and change in the short term. I could see that playing out with the inflows coming from the ETFs. You could also see that happening with retail FOMO once the price breaks out. XRP is going to head into not only a new all-time high, but price discovery as well. And I already see a lot of people saying this is going to be a super cycle based on the chart for XRP. All those years of consolidation are going to really push this cryptocurrency to new highs, one after another. I think it's not so much a super cycle. I think it's going to be more of a utility run can start to happen during this alt season. This run is going to be something like we've never seen before in the past because the institutions weren't here in 2021. They weren't here in 2017, 2018. They are finally going to be major players during this alt season. And I think that's going to be a real game changer on the price of XRP. But it's too early to say how high the price will actually go. We'll have a better idea within the next 2 weeks. We got to look at the inflows coming in through those ETFs. And then we got to see how that's affecting the price of XRP. Is the market cap multiplier playing a factor with XRP as well? But I will say this, the exciting times are here. And until it happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.